Hello and welcome to the Council of Moms. I'm Lisa Valentine Clark, and we are so excited to get together a bunch of women who are moms, who have things to say, who want to share, not just for their own benefit, but just to support women around them. And if that's not the spirit of a Council of Moms, I don't know what is. So the Council of Moms, as I like to say, where the more questions you have, the better you're doing. The Council of Moms.
Nice.
Can't faze us. Nothing phases us. And as always, the Council of Moms, made with real moms. I'm a real mom, your host, Lisa Valentine Clark. I'm mother of 5, veteran mother, as I like to say. I don't know why. Maybe because my kids are age 17 to 27. I've got a little bit of everything. My kids are all different. They're entertaining, and they're to the stage now where we can be a little reflective about the relationship that we have as mom, kids, how we're doing, our hopes and dreams. And it's kind of a fun stage of life that I am really enjoying. And I really enjoy this phase of mothering. We also have a great council with different kinds of moms. Here today, we also have...
I'm Juhi. I'm a pediatrician by day, a parent coach by heart, and a mom 24/7 of 2 amazing kids who are teaching me every day. I feel like I'm learning a lot in this season about a new language, which is like the texting language, some new words, and why everything is weird or not. And it's just kind of a new era of language learning for me.
I love it.
I'm Whitney Call. I am a mom of 3 boys, and one of them just told me yesterday during my birthday dinner that he's grateful for me because I clean the house really well.
Okay.
So that's the phase we're in.
Great.
I love them. They're little butt heads, and they're super sweet. And my value is apart from what they think of me sometimes.
I love it. And finally...
Hi, my name is Juhi Suazo. I am the mother of 5 beautiful, challenging children. I have teens, tweens, and a tiny little surprise baby that's keeping it fresh and new for us at all times. We have one that's adopted, so we span that random part of the world too. And so I'm happy to be here.
So grateful for you guys for being here to tackle these issues of some of the things that we talk about a lot in motherhood, some things that we don't talk about enough, and everything in between. So I love it. Today's question is, hey, moms, my littles fight a lot. Usually not physically, but sometimes they argue and bicker, and usually it ends up with one or more of my kids running up to me in tears so I can step in. And then they fight about the tattling. And it makes me anxious because I feel so protective of them and angry when they hurt each other. But I also worry that if I intervene too much, they won't learn how to solve their own problems. So, how do you know when or how to break up a conflict between your kids? What do you got?
I'm listening.
I know. That is the thing, though. Like, intervening or not, like you hear of all these things of like, I make my kids wear the same shirt until they get along, or I lock them in a room until they figure it out. And then you see the other spectrum of people saying, can you understand how your sibling feels? Can you understand how your sibling feels? And where you're doing the negotiation for them. I mean, it really is such a sliding scale. Like, what regrets do you have? What things really worked? What do you think?
I definitely feel guilty of jumping in because, I just, every little fight, I'm just like a peacemaker. And it's something that, you also have to kind of be aware and kind of work a little bit on that patience piece. Because no one wants conflict. Like as an adult, you don't want your children to fight, but it's part of growing up. We fought with our siblings when we were kids. and we share a special bond with our siblings, and so when the same thing happens with our kids, we look at it a little differently, and so it does come up when my kids fight. It takes a lot in me to be like, is this a red light, yellow light, or a green light?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
is it something that is everybody safe? And if everybody's safe, then I could be a bystander and be like, okay, I can watch this. But it's hard. It's like that crying out method with babies,
Yeah.
where it's like super hard. So definitely something that is a work in progress within me. But I know that it's an important part of growing up.
Yeah.
And you want your children to come out stronger, but you don't want one particular child to suffer every single time. And you don't
yeah, that's a
want
good
it to
point.
be, so definitely.
Yeah, this is something that I've definitely been really mindful of lately, and very it's pulled my thoughts quite a bit, because I was the jump in and what do you feel? And what do you feel? And everyone's trying to, and really they're like, I just
Me
want to know that
too.
it was my deal, But I'm
Yeah.
thinking about what Juhi's saying, and it's the idea of the lioness, right? Like these cubs are rolling around with each other, biting each other, and then it gets to
Yes.
the point where the mom's like, knock it off, right? Like,
Right.
so I think
That's the
making
kind
sure
of mom
that-
I was. Just knock it off. Stop.
But imagine how important for that cub if they don't learn
Yeah.
to roll around a little bit, right? Or to get the actual things that they need. There's studies that show that
Yeah.
even roughhousing with dad is vitally important for kids' sense of understanding, the sense of pressure. They kind of know how far they can push things physically. That's a really important thing for them to do. And I think that if you're anywhere into green and yellow where someone is not being physically harmed,
Yeah.
them navigating that in the home where we're able to observe and keep them safe, they're going to learn how to navigate that when they're in school and dealing with a bully, or in school dealing with even their friends. And I think about we went on a vacation with my sister, and they had 2 children and we have 5. And so we were driving down the Badlands in South Dakota, and they said, we've got to run over to this other thing because she wants to see it and he wants to see it. And they're trying to meet both of these kids' needs. And I'm like, I will never be able to meet 5 of my children's needs. We all collectively are deciding what we're doing together,
Yeah.
right? We all
Yeah.
decided this is top priority and the majority won. And I just think, and at first I was like, oh, I was so sad. And then I thought, you know what? These kids are learning to navigate something that will be so vital for them, just for the fact that they had siblings and that they are now aware of that. And so robbing them of that time to really be able to kind of get into the dark and dirties, and afterwards you go, do you see that you really hurt them? Maybe it's the reflection rather than really stopping it in the middle of it. That reflection back to go, that really, you didn't feel good when that happened. I could see it on your face that you didn't feel good
Right.
when you took the low blow on your brother, right? And if we get in too fast, we've not allowed them to actually learn or to see the lesson.
Yeah, that's such a hard thing, because I think
So
when
hard.
when they're littles and they're fighting, you just want it to stop. But you
Yeah.
have to think of the long game of when do you break up the conflict and when do you let them do it? And if one kid, like you said, Juhi, that really clicked in my head of you want to make sure
Yeah.
one kid isn't always getting picked on, and your perception of it might not always be reality.
Yeah.
And because I know
Yeah.
sometimes my kids are like, you always,
Yeah. Exactly. And that
Protect
that,
him or her
that
and not
affects
him.
their relationship too.
Yes.
If you feel like, oh, he's getting picked on, or the other kid is,
Yeah.
overpowering, then the kid you're thinking is overpowering has a negative relationship with you and their sibling, because
Yes.
they have a point of view that they're trying to make. And so, in their minds, and again, I mean, it's a brain development thing too, because they're still kids, even though they look like they're, taller, or,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
it's important to you don't have to be a referee, as a
No.
parent, all the time. And sometimes you can just walk with your cup of coffee, by the room too. But it takes a lot out of a mom to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like there are two, there's a spectrum maybe, because I feel like on one end, it's helpful for me to know things like siblings on average fight 8 times an hour. And it's like, oh,
Wait, what?
Perfect. We are average.
on average.
We are
That's
easily
average?
I read it in an article, Lisa. I read it in
Do you
an
hear that? If
article.
my kids are
She's brought the
listening,
facts.
Mom read an article, so you're on notice.
8 times an hour.
This
So
is
for
actually
me-
making me feel a lot better.
Yes. So like if I feel like, oh my gosh, it's just been nonstop. But if I know something like that and I'm like, well, this is normal.
Okay.
This is normal.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh man, like why are you guys the one set of siblings in the whole world that needs to fight all the time? No, everyone does it. And I think it's also helpful. I know for me, I have all boys. And so they tend to get physical more quickly.
Yeah.
And what I learned, I listened to this podcast that was specifically about parenting boys, and it was so helpful for me to realize like this is normal. It's normal for them because their word center is not as developed early on as girls are. And so when I'm saying, hey, why can't you talk about it? Why can't you vocalize what you're feeling?
Yeah.
Because for me, from a really young age, I was able to say, this makes me feel this way. I don't appreciate this. And for my kids, sometimes it's just a shove. And I'm like, hey, that's not okay. But if what this podcast was saying was if they're not hurting themselves or other people, and if they're not hurting the world around them, I don't need to step in.
Don't need to step
And it doesn't need to be more rules than that. And that was helpful for me to simplify and recognize, okay, now do I always do that? No. But what is helpful for me in the moment is to wait just a beat longer than I feel comfortable. So for me, I will wait.
That's great.
Just a moment longer.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I should I'm going to wait. Okay, now I'll go, because sometimes it turns and they're able to talk it out, or they realize, oh, I'm sorry, that was too rough. Or they'll just break apart and they get their own space for, like, they can regulate on their own. And if I wait just a beat longer, like crying it out, right? You start to see how they regulate themselves. I feel like when we go to the other end of the spectrum, I recognize I have one kid who emotionally dysregulates very easily. And so I start seeing the signs of like, this is getting unsafe. And that's when I step in.
Yeah. Yeah. And as they're getting unsafe, it's important to not start like lecturing in the moment. Like it's really key to separate and be safe and say, we are unsafe in this environment. We're not okay with this, and it's time. And you could even have like a family word, like a reset or something, along those lines where that word means stop and separate. And then talk it over when everybody's more regulated and calm. Because in the moment, nobody's going to be able to comprehend what's happening because it's kind of past that boiling point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Past the
noticed
boiling
when
point.
my kid is up here and I come in, like we've noticed, like sometimes you got to pick someone up and remove them from the situation. But if it doesn't have to be a pick them up and remove them, I try not to touch him when he's up here because that just gets things all the way over, right? And so
Absolutely.
I have to make sure I'm coming into a situation regulated. So if my kids are fighting and I'm coming in and I'm saying, no, don't fight. It's not going to help.
Yeah.
That's what I was
absolutely.
thinking too. It's like, are you coming in and escalating something that was going to pit her out after they like finally gave the person their knife back, to like butter the bread? Well, I had it
Their
first.
knife.
You had it first. Okay, maybe not a knife. Let's go with their toy bag. I'm just thinking of what my kids probably were fighting about this morning. Anyway, but that's my problem is I definitely just even from my own childhood of like anger and trauma, it's like I'm coming in hot. I'm generally not coming in with like my own level head in the situation. And it might have dissipated within a matter of seconds if, if I hadn't jumped in too fast. So maybe sitting until you're a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Yeah, and kind of walking in with, I find that, if I walk in, if something had happened like a couple days ago and one kid, I already have like a judgment sort of coming in.
Yes.
And that is really, that is not necessary in that moment, because this is a fresh argument or a fight, and coming in with like no judgment and just kind of coming in like a sportscaster is like also a way to regulate yourself and stay calm in those moments. And yes, I think that, Whitney, that's a great point. Being a little bit more uncomfortable than you can handle is, it could just change everything. Yeah, it could just change everything.
How does that conversation change when you feel like one of the kids comes to you and says, so-and-so is always picking on me, or I'm always making them mad, or, like that kind of thing, where they come to you knowing that, they're bickering back and forth, but it's not in the moment, and they want like sort of a bigger conversation in that. I've had those conversations, and those are hard because I want to sort of speak for the other person. Like, no, they don't. They're your brother. They love you. They, I don't, and they feel like that fighting is happening a lot. How do you negotiate those kinds of conversations or instances?
We have this situation actually happening a lot, and I don't know if I'm like more like aware. Maybe I'm even judging the situation because it happens with my 12-year-old and my adopted son who's 9. And so there's this challenge of like, it's almost bullying from my biological child to my adopted child. And I feel very protective. And I think, is this created because of the adoption and these, triggering or difficult situation of a kid coming into the family and displacing this other child? And so I don't know if I've made some of it in my own head, but it certainly is that like there's a lot of frustration from one to the other. And the only thing that we have like been able to figure out is to try to increase the positive experiences they're having with each other. So like specific things that just the two of them go and do together, so that they have that like, they have enough positive rapport so that when the negative stuff is happening, they have something to take back on rather than it's constantly always negative, right? So like the two of them will go fishing with grandpa, right? And then they're able to experience a situation where they have that positive fill of their bucket with each other.
That's great.
I like that.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah, just kind of working together in a lot of these situations, so that when that happens, when they're fighting, they have like an anchor, to hold. And also, like, I find like if my younger one is always feeling like the older one's, not kind, I try to like make them aware of like maybe what's going on in their lives, because maybe they're not talking to each other. So like if the older ones were having like a lot of exams or applications and things like that to take care of, sometimes they're so overwhelmed, so it's not necessarily like the unkindness is not coming personally, but it's more about what they're dealing with in their life.
I love that that's happening after the fight too, because it's reflective, and you're actually just taking the fight and you're letting them learn, because they're gonna deal with it in their real lives. That same kid that's picking on my younger 9-year-old, he's getting bullied at school all the time. He's the one that like has a really tough time at school, and so I go, dude, like, let's see what you're seeing in school, and then it's happening at home. Like, you're doing that. And we're able to have that reflective moment. And now the fight that seemed like it was a lot is this learning moment. But and you're teaching them, hey, when someone hurts me, I can look at them and go, I wonder what they're going through. I wonder what that's like.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
Exactly. I love that.
And solve it like on a bigger picture level.
Right.
And because, in this question too, the mom who's asking says, like, it makes me anxious because I feel productive. I worry. And this makes me angry when they hurt. Like, she's talking a lot about her emotions as well.
Yeah.
And I think helping kids, like, identify it, like, oh, when this happens to me, I feel this way.
Right.
And I don't want to feel this way, or I want to change this. And then I feel like it gives them a bigger sense of how they can have more control over their lives and their emotions and how they choose, and it can teach a bigger issue than, I guess, this very common thing, if it's happening 8 times in an hour, of fighting with your
Thank
siblings.
goodness we know that now.
Let's
that just makes me feel calmer.
I love it.
Well,
like,
and I
well,
feel
yeah,
like
let's use that to our benefit.
the person who is getting picked on, I mean, there is something in just like merely reflecting what they're feeling, that oftentimes they come to those realizations on their own, right?
Yeah.
I think they just want to know that you get it. And so it's not my job to step in and say, like, no, he didn't mean that. He didn't, like, he was
I always want to say that.
right. But it's my job to say, like, wow, like, you are really feeling hurt by this, and like, wow, like, this really, you seem very, just like very reflective language. I'm not the best at it, but when I can switch that part on in my brain, I think a lot of times they come to their own resolutions, right? And I know that in the moment, this is also another super hard thing to do, but in the moment, because I have one who is usually the instigator, right? And so usually when there is a fight, I go right to that one because I want to stop it. And I want to be like, stop what you are doing. And what I've, read and try to do in my own life that is helpful is I go to the one who has been hurt, because that's the immediate need, right? There have been times, I will admit, when one of my kids has hit my other kid, and I ignore the kid who's been hit because I go to the one who hit. And I'm like, we don't hit people,
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's
never
the
even thought about
fire.
that.
That's the fire.
Yeah.
But no, the fire is, I'm going to make sure this person is okay. I'm going to give them some compassionate attention. First of
Yeah.
all, that helps regulate myself so that I'm not coming at the aggressor aggressively.
You're in
But
compassion.
it also helps to give the attention first to the one who needs that safety. And so then they recognize I am safe. I have a place that I'm getting my needs met. And it also shows that, because all attention is currency, right? And so it shows the one who is instigating it, I'm not going to get the immediate attention from doing this. The attention goes to the person who got hurt.
Whitney.
But
Julie's having a
up.
moment here.
I'm
Julie
like,
is
wow,
having a moment.
That like blew my mind though. Like,
well,
I'm
and like I
like,
said,
what?
I don't do it all the time. Like, it's
but
such
it's
a natural
brilliant.
reaction to be
Yeah, it's
like,
brilliant,
don't
though.
hit, right?
Of course.
But when
He's
you go
the
to
immediate
like,
need, but he's not.
right. And when you go to the one who's like, are you okay? Like, let's make sure you're feeling safe. Then you can come to the instigator afterwards and you can have that reflective conversation. But it's no longer because you did this, I'm giving you the immediate negative attention.
Oh,
Yeah, the currency thing is huge
Right.
too. The way you were saying, it's brilliant.
It just becomes like, hey, this happened a little bit ago and we need to talk about it because we know it's not okay. But let's now talk about it in a, what are you, like, let me reflect what you're feeling, instead of like, hey, I'm coming to talk to you because of that thing that I don't want you to keep doing, but I'm going to give you attention because you just did it. Anyway, it's a mind storm going on in those moments, and it doesn't always happen, but that's what I remember.
It's
That's
like
so
a
good.
rewiring of your brain of like,
Mine
you
did.
know,
My brain just rewired. That's what you were talking. I was
It
like,
happened
oh my
in
gosh,
real time.
currency and the attention to the good. I was like, why?
I love it. The Council of Moms, rewiring
Life-changing.
your brain.
Yeah, rewiring, blaha moments.
One mind storm at a time. I
Give
love
the
it.
currency to the child who needs it.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's brilliant.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Juhi, I felt like you were going to say something about that.
No, I was just saying that it's just that rewiring process,
Yeah.
and your instincts, like your natural instincts to go to the person, fix the problem. It's not
Yep.
always about
Yes.
fixing it. It's about just kind of taking a second and giving your attention where it's necessary in the moment. And that was brilliantly put, Whitney. I 100% agree. And I will try to implement that.
I'll let you know
It's,
if it works when I start doing it.
Let's all check it out over the next month, and then we'll check back with each other.
Well, that's what's so funny is like, I mean, motherhood is like you're learning in real time and adjusting in real time, and there are no like tap out breaks or pause. Like it's, oh, here we go, as you're having your own life experience and emotions and
Yeah.
But it's such a
just-
brilliant idea.
hard.
Imagine being able to go to that kid who in real time is the one that's struggling. And like, I just feel like, man, that would check my brain off so quickly to come with compassion if that's where I was putting my attention. So I think
Yeah.
that's great advice for all the moms and myself.
Yeah.
And give yourself
Yeah.
compassion when you don't do it 50 times in a row, because then eventually you remember to do it once. And it really does, I think,
Yeah.
help me come to the other child afterwards and be in a better headspace. Because the thing is, they're both struggling, right? Like
Yeah.
all behavior is communication. Whatever we're hearing and we don't remember when we're up here.
Yeah.
Like that other child clearly is needing something, but they don't need me coming and saying, like that.
Yeah.
That's not what they need, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Adding fuel to the fire.
Well, then I should do
I
something
just-
different.
Hey, can you guys hang on for just a second? I got to get into my time machine and go back for when my kids were little.
Yeah.
And I got to redo a couple things, and then I'll just be right back.
I'll save it on the 2-year-old. I'll fix everything with her now.
Is this why, like, we enjoy being a grandma so much? Like, I'm not a
Yeah.
grandma
Yeah.
yet, but, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, no, I've got it figured out. Like, put me in coach. Now I get it. You know, like,
Yeah.
because
Second
I'm
chance.
just thinking of all the times where I was, like, physically, like, ripping kids apart going, get it together. Like,
Get it
knock,
together.
knock
Well, your
it
children
off.
are brilliant, so you did fine.
I don't know. But I do remember saying the phrase knock it off a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Don't yell at each other.
Get it together, man.
Yelling.
Yeah. And I just think, oh, yeah, if I would have, could have, should have, which is another part of like, and I appreciate you bringing up the compassion for yourself part, Whitney, because I mean, how many times, I think we still do this though, like when the kids are growing or they're adults, it's like they can still have fights and disagreements with their siblings and we can be like, just, let it go or whatever, instead of like really addressing the person. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I mean,
we
it's
never
also
stop
like,
being a mom.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like kicking the can down the road if we are not,
Ooh,
addressing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's actually really empowering to,
Yeah.
deal with it and try not to fix everything and let the emotions overflow.
Yeah.
Which is
Compassion
hard
is you
as
can
moms.
only do what you know. Like this is brand new information for me. Whitney brought
Yeah.
brand new information. So I get to go and decide what to do with this brand new information.
What are you going
What
to
I didn't
do?
know before. I'm going to try. I'm going to try really hard.
Right.
Because I love it. Well, it's a good brain shift for me. Like I'm telling you, it's like that rocked my brain in a brand new way. So it's
I
good.
love
I
this.
can go now. I don't need to be mad at her before. Like she didn't know.
Yeah.
She thought she was doing real
She
good.
didn't know.
But
Yeah,
we'll
she
see what
was
she's
doing
doing
her
now.
best.
We'll
Bless
See
her
how
heart.
she shows up now.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? Like your kids, I feel like in each stage of this, our kids are talking to us in code, basically, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's okay if right now I don't understand the code. But like when my kids are fighting, usually, like if they're fighting over this toy or if they're fighting over this, it's never about the toy. Like that's the point of it, right? And so if I come in, because when I'm reading it just as plain print, I'm coming in saying like, we don't hit people and it's just a toy. And so when I can slow myself down, I start being able to read the code better, right? And I start recognizing like, oh, this brother hasn't been included in a lot of things today. And I think he's feeling left out. I think like, I'm just like guessing. So I'm going to We're just going to see like what's going on, right? But when we treat it all not as like hard facts, but like what Juhi was saying about like, it's all emotions. It's all just like things that are like either moving through our body at hyperspeed or lodged in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to get those feelings out, right? We're just trying to see what they are. And so sometimes when I see these things happening, I'm like, oh my gosh, my kid's going to grow up to be a serial killer because he can't even relinquish that Lego without hitting something. And it's like, it's not
And
about
it's not that
the
big
Lego.
a deal.
It's not
It's
that
not
big a
about the
deal.
Lego.
It's not about the Lego.
Yeah.
That should be crocheted on
I would
something
like to
in my
parent
house.
with Whitney.
It's not about the
I would like
Lego.
to co-parent with Whitney. Does that work? Can we council of moms?
I love it.
Start a couple more issues.
I couldn't have set up a better segue of like, this is why you need the Council of Moms. Because we all have our own blind spots. We all have our own specialties. We've all picked up things along the way, but not all of the things. But sharing them with each other helps us to feel less alone and also helps to feel more connected and better prepared to go in to deal with our kids and love our kids in the most authentic way, because they can't give us those needs. We need those needs taken care of somewhere else so that we can show up for our kids, no matter what your kids' ages are. I really do. So thank you for being this awesome Council of Moms. Juhi, Julie, Whitney, thank you so much for being here and just being stellar and being so authentic and sharing with this and laughing along with us, and also just sharing like your hard-won knowledge and expertise. Thank you. For those of you listening, are you watching? You can watch over on YouTube. We talk with our hands. You can see a lot of that over on YouTube.
It's very entertaining.
You can listen anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you like this, please subscribe to the Council of Moms. Please share this to a mom or to your own council, preferably. And also the dads that are watching and listening, welcome. And share this with someone else. So send in your questions. You can comment here or DM us on Instagram. We read all of our comments. We love to hear what you're thinking about, what you're talking about, what we're not talking about, but should be talking about. The Council of Moms is a production of BYU Radio. We are so glad that you were here with us. Thanks.